It's Tuesday Trade here on Hot Business, and we're talking about crypto as the Advertising Regulatory Board has introduced new rules around how crypto can be advertised. I think we have a sense of why that happened. Fred Razak, who's the Chief Trading Specialist, joins me now. Fred, thanks so much for your time from CMTrading. Just talk to me about these new rules and what they say.
Well, basically what has come to be is that because the crypto market has been so volatile, and so I think it's really something that is way overdue, that regulatory bodies will need to disclaim the risks involved in investing or even holding onto cryptocurrencies, even trading it. So this is something that's way overdue, and an oversight of how slow the regulatory body is in terms of catching up to the rest of the market.
That's an international regulatory body, I'm assuming, not ours here in South Africa. So just talk to me more about why it took so long and what it's going to do to the space if there are more stringent standards around how you can advertise trading or crypto.
So it's kind of like the wild, wild west when it comes to cryptocurrencies. It came out of nowhere. I mean, it's not really a currency per se. It's something that we've ascribed some value to it arbitrarily in a marketplace. However, it has all the elements of, being considered an asset, but it doesn't physically fall into somewhat of the radar for us to ascribe it to be an asset. So, it's kind of one of those type of things that kind of like slide under the regulatory rug and don't actually wait. But, it's kind of crazy because it's traded in the trillions. It's kind of crazy that, it's like saying, is the Diamond District regulated? It's not. Right? The Diamond District is not regulated. So, cryptocurrencies were this type of, thing that came together that had this asset component to it, but really didn't have the regulatory necessity. Although it was necessary from the very beginning, it kind of was like an organic market for a very long time. But once you start ascribing some sort of currency characteristic to it and people start using it as a currency, well, then at that point, the value of it can't fluctuate in the thousands per day. Imagine the yen or the US dollar was to trade in thousands per day. It wouldn't be sustainable.
I think it's interesting that one of the things that needs to happen now when you are advertising crypto is the warning about the potential loss of capital, and also making it really simple to understand, because I think a way that people have been bamboozled is, you just see like a lot of flashy images. There's like a very long explanation about blockchain and you can make money, but not so much of the details.
Right. So, unfortunately, the financial services industry attracts all kinds of people. And, anywhere from the most legitimate kind of institutions to, unfortunately, some nefarious, kind of business atmosphere. And because of that, it gets a bad rap, right? And, the central governments and the financial services regulatory bodies that try to regulate that, unfortunately, are not updated as quickly as the marketplace would like them to be updated. And there's a little bit of a lag time. There's a lot of a lag time until they actually catch up and make regulatory standards and regulation. And, you would think, this is something maybe in third world countries or even second world countries. But no, this is even in the United States or in Europe or in Asia, where things are not as, caught up. There's some countries better than others, but, it's mind-boggling that, the regulatory bodies just don't catch up to what's happening on the street.
So do you think that because of the characters that you've spoken about in the financial services industry and a lot of bad actors that are there, I don't think that a regulation is going to stop someone who's a bad actor, because they will find a way around doing it in the same way. There's Ponzi schemes, in the same way that even in the financial services sector, people take advantage of people who don't have a lot of information.
True, but nevertheless, it will sustain some sort of marketplace where it's to a certain degree that it's how should I say it, that it's formulated in such a way that it's not so arbitrary, and formulated in a way that it's not as people, unfortunately, whether or not you'd like to say it or not, central banks is quote unquote a manipulation of the markets. Okay. I use the word manipulation because they have an effect, depending on the interest rates, on how the currency either goes up in value or decreases in value as a result of that. So you could say that that's manipulated, or you could use another term of regulated. So, to a certain degree, I believe that the crypto space needs to be regulated. To what extent that you could have, you could argue that, in university campuses from now until, doomsday, but they do need to be regulated if they're going to be expected to be something that we're using as a standard. We can't live in an environment of such inconsistency on a currency that we're living on, not a currency that we're gambling or even speculating on. There was two schools of thoughts, coming into the crypto currency time. There was one school of thought is it's the next big thing, and it's, you're seeing all the younger people kind of invest in it, and it's going to be the currency of tomorrow. And then there was another school of thought who said, listen, we're looking at the fundamentals, and it's not there. It's not backed up by anything that has any valuable asset. So we're not touching it. Okay, that was the old school. That was like the Warren Buffett guys and the Charlie Munger and all those guys, right? All the guys that are old school. So, at a certain point, who was right? They're both right, okay? To a certain degree, they're both right. Is it going to be something of the future? Yes, but it's only going to be something in the future as long as it's regulated in a formation where there's some sort of substance that is attributed to it, some sort of asset. I mean, even the dollar is based on some sort of asset. It's based on the GDP of the United States, right? So, until that happens, I think we're going to see tremendous fluctuations in that market space.
Fred Razak, the Chief Trading Specialist at CMTrading. Thanks so much for your time on Tuesday's Trade on Hot Business this evening.
Thank you. God bless.